anointed. I am royalty. So don't you mess with me. I've got the authority that he has given. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Thank you, Jesus. Purpose can't die. No.
No, purpose can't die. Good morning. Good morning again to all our listeners from across the nations of the world. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. It is the 17th day of March, 2023. And we see that the month is moving along. The year is moving along. We're actually in the first, we've almost completed the first quarter of the year. I don't know about you, but can I tell you, I looked at my planner the other day and there were some things that I had written down to have accomplished by the first quarter when I was like, oh my God. When I had looked at it, it was the 15th. I was like, oh my goodness, I have 15 more days. And so, I have to make sure that I jump on top of everything that I wanted to accomplish in the first quarter of the year, because guess what? I'm not going to allow this year to go by like the other years. We must do the work that the Lord has sent us to do and be good stewards in his vineyard. And I am one to write down things, and I make sure to write it down because when I see it in plain black and white on paper, I can go back to it. So I want to say good morning to all the listeners. Good morning to all the viewers from across the nations of the world. I'm watching the numbers go up here on Facebook and on YouTube. Good morning. I am your host, Odette Thompson. This is the Morning Flow, and we're about to begin our segment, Balancing on Purpose. And for the listeners that are here on hggradio.ca, if you'd love to see the interview live, you can jump over to Facebook, Odette Thompson, or Rashane Douglas. You can jump over to YouTube, Odette Thompson or Rashane Douglas, if you'd love to see this interview live and in living color. So good morning again. Good morning again. All right. And there we have it. We have the beautiful, here she is, folks. Here she is, the beautiful Marshella Brown-FEARON. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Pastor, and how are you? I've been enjoying the program.
Good morning. I am well. And thank you for enjoying the program. It means that you've been watching it and you've been listening. So I thank you for that feedback.
Oh, yes. I think I pride myself as an avid listener to your program. Once I'm able to, I'm up in. Sometimes I can't get to go live, but whenever I can, I do. And it has been really wonderful starting my mornings almost every day.
So, all right. Awesome. Avid listener. All right, folks, you hear that? Avid listener. All right, so I want to welcome you this morning. So you are not a listener this morning, but you are our guest. You are our guest. And, you have to be doing something phenomenal to be the guest here this morning on the segment Balancing on Purpose. Can I tell you, there are a number of individuals that I watch across different streams, and I watch what they have to do, and I watch how they balance what they are doing. And so whenever I see someone stand out, I say, you know what, I'd love to have that person come on the program and talk to me about balancing. And so when we look at the word balance, it says it's having different parts or elements properly or effectively arranged, right? So having different parts properly and effectively arranged. So basically it means that you have more than one thing doing. You're basically doing a juggling act, but you are doing it on purpose, and you're doing it effectively, and you're doing it excellently. And I want to commend you on all the things that I see happening on your side of the world, the things that you have put your hand to. And I'm just loving it. Can I tell you, I admire when I see a woman, and men, don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong, men, don't get me wrong. It's not that I'm like, say, okay, big up, big up the woman. Yeah. But guess what? When I see a woman, in her capacity, multifaceted, and you are doing everything and you're keeping a level head. You're not running around like a chicken without a head, but you're doing it so gracefully. I admire it. I admire it. And so oftentimes I'll reach out to a particular female and say, you know what? I'm watching you and I love what you're doing. Keep it up. Keep it up. And so this is me publicly saying to you this morning, I see you. I love what you're doing. Keep it up.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
All right. So before we even get into the interview, all right. So there are a number of different hats that you wear, right? Number of different hats that you wear. And I'm sure that most persons may know a few of the hats that you wear. I'm sure I don't know all of the hats that you wear. All right. So I'm going to highlight some of the things that I have seen, some of the hats that I know that you wear. And if there's anything that I leave out, you can just add that in because I want to know all of the hats that you wear. All right. So I know that you are a wife. I know you're a mom. I know that you are the general secretary for an international organization. I know that you are the owner and CEO of your own company. I know that you are a podcaster. And I must put this one out there because I try so often to come on, and whenever I do come on, I've come on a couple of times. And folks, this is before I even considered having her on the show. This is even before I was here on HGG Radio that I've been watching her podcast, and it is a wonderful podcast, and we're going to be talking about that later on. So those are a few of the things that I know about. So this is the woman this morning, folks, Marshella Brown-FEARON out of Jamaica. And you just heard some of the things that I listed in terms of what she does in her daily capacity as an excellent ambassador for Jesus. I love that. See, Jesus ambassador. That's the name she goes with this morning. All right. So as an excellent ambassador for Jesus, those are some of the hats that she wears. So I want you to tell our listeners and our viewers this morning, who is Marshella Brown-FEARON?
All right. Good morning again, Pastor, and thank you so much for having me to all your wonderful listeners on this station. Thank you so much for having me. Um, this is not normally the space I like to be in. Never always prepared for this, but as I tell you, I can't hide in the open. When you're in the open, it just can't hide because some eyes are always on you. So again, I'm grateful to be here and just to share just a few nuggets with your listeners and hoping that they'll grab a few and from their experiences. No, I like how you put the word balance because as you mentioned, our lives are filled with so many different elements, and people call it layered. So layered with different parts, different responsibilities, different rules. But it's how you compartment, how you put them together, how you structure yourself so that all elements get done and the balance happen whereby nothing gets left behind. So yes, you mentioned a few. Firstly, as you mentioned, I'm Marshella. I pride myself the Jesus ambassador. So of course, you know that the first thing that people would know about me that I'm a Christian, and I want to be or try to be the Christian that I don't have to tell people that I am a Christian, but the way I carry myself, the way I speak, person ask me, are you a Christian? Or I say, oh, you're a Christian. I love to hear that because Christian is not just you telling people or you be dressed up on a Sunday morning, but by everything that you do, it speaks to who you are. So yes, I'm a Christian. Yes, you mentioned, of course, that I am the General Secretary for New Life Community Church International, which I served for a number of years. I'm happy to be a servant there. I also, of course, the CEO and owner of NBF Group, or Farron's Exquisite Photo Studio, which is a small business in the creative space doing waves, and you can check us out. A podcaster and recent for the last 2 years. This is a calling that God has been placed upon me, which has been manifested and has been doing well. And based on persons who have joined, have told me how much they have impacted with it. And it's something that I'm really, really grateful to be a carrier of this vision. A mother, as you mentioned, I also involved in humanitarian work outside of church. So I'm a member of Love and Hope Ministry, a ministry which I hold dear to me, which gives me the opportunity to be in touch in real life with persons underground in the schools where I can go and minister to them and bring hope to them. So that is one thing I do. I'm also known in my family as a favorite auntie, which is something that I love. So I will show up for any one of my nieces and nephews at any given day. But all of them will tell you that whenever one of my sister get pregnant, I'm the one to pick them up at the hospital, carry them to the doctor, do anything first or anything, they can call on favorite auntie to do that. So I pride that role very much as something I do. I More about me, the type of person I am a fun loving person. I bring energy. I bring, calm and peace to a room. Wherever I am, I don't like an environment that is toxic, that is, intense. So once I'm around, there must be some form of calm and peace in there. Bring an energy because I want to attract that energy where I go. So if I'm in a space, it must be a space where a person can relate to me. I can relate to them. And it doesn't matter who the person is, we can relate on a certain level. And there's a positive energy that I bring because I want that to be thrown back at me. All right. So I love life. Try to live out loud as best to ensure that my life is a representative of who I say I am. For a number of years, before I even understood fully what it is, I pride myself the Jesus ambassador. And I speak a lot about that. Any device I have, anything I have, you will see the Jesus ambassador. I believe that I want to be, the person that in my small space, in my small circle, that you can see Jesus around you in some way, in some form by my action. And I know from a longer time, from an early age, that there's purpose in my life. And this purpose is to represent Christ everywhere I go. So it is hard to maintain a standard like this to be a Jesus ambassador, but it's something that I want to ensure that I remind myself and I do that every single day of my life. Strong person, very resilient. I've gone through tough times, intense hardship, poverty, and growing every single day because I know that there's more to life than just this. And so every single day I wake up to be intentional about how I live my life and to be that person, that girl that would bring hope to somebody's life. In a nutshell, I believe that's it. We can ask more questions, but I think I've said enough.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I have some new information. All right, so I got some additional information on you, things I didn't know, and see now there are more things that you're juggling. So wow, you are the perfect guest for our segment. And I love when you say that you live out loud. I love that part. I love also when you said, you know what, you want to make sure that when persons come around you, your life exemplifies that of a Christian. So you don't have to say it. You don't have to be walking around with a loudspeaker. Hey, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. Just by how you are living, it should show. And I love that about you. I love the fact that persons will say, okay, just by watching her, you're like a Naomi. Ruth and Orpha had a Naomi, and so they had somebody that they could watch and emulate. And so I'm sure that there are many, many women that are watching you. Oftentimes we don't know how many persons are watching us, but I'm sure that there are many females that are watching you and they are saying, you know what, I want to be like how she is. I love her character. I love her personality. I love how calm she is. Can I tell you, I love how calm you are, because I love, yeah, folks. Yeah, she mentioned she's the general secretary for the NLPCI, and that is the organization that I'm a part of. And sometimes I'm a bad girl. Some reports. You see, I come in a confession.
You telling, it's you
So,
confessing, and I didn't say nothing.
and she's just so calm with me, and to the point where she's so calm with me, I feel so bad. I feel so bad, you
Oh,
know. But I absolutely love how you operate in the different areas that I am involved with you, and I applaud you for it. All right, so we're gonna go into some questions. All right, so we're talking about balancing here. All right, so you have here Jesus Ambassador. So you are the general secretary for an international organization, a religious body, and so we know that that is ministry of itself. And so You don't take the mic and preach, and you keep everything together, right? And you do it so well. And so ministry, a lot of persons don't understand that ministry is not only the preaching and the singing, and ministry administration. Ha!
That is ministry.
That is ministry. You see, administration people, you see, when you go and you see a big mega church and you see the thing running like a fine machine, you see the administrator behind that fine machine, that's the person keeping the ministry together. A lot of persons don't understand that ministry, that administration is a ministry in of itself, because you have to be organized. You have to be, you have to, um, Joseph.
Yeah,
Joseph, a lot of persons alluded to the fact that Joseph the dreamer, but Joseph was actually an excellent administrator.
right.
It was his administrative skills that brought him to the forefront of meeting with the king, right? So you ministry is multifaceted, and so we're going to look at what you do in ministry. All right, so a lot of persons think that ministry is just on Sundays. All right, so given the fact that what you do is not on the forefront of on a Sunday, I want you to talk to me about the background work and how you keep it together, because as I said, administration in a ministry, that in of itself take 7 days of the week. 7 days of
Right.
the week. I want you to talk to me about that. Is ministry, do you only do it on a Sunday when you come out with the announcements and everything else that you come out with? Is it only on a Sunday that ministry takes place for you?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Ministry is every single day. And on a Sunday morning, you could call Sunday morning like a refueling station, like a gas station where you come to top up so that you have enough energy for the rest of the day or the week. That's what Sunday morning is about: fellowshipping, about meeting together to encourage and to worship. But ministry actually is when you leave on a Sunday morning. When you leave Sunday morning, you go home, and for the rest of the week, that is pretty much where ministry is. Every single day, when you step out, is about what it is that I'm going to do to impact somebody's life, or what I'm going to do to make or to fulfill my purpose. So when you see a Sunday morning, the quality of service you enjoy, the preaching that happened and everything, that is the work put in for the rest of for the week that comes out on a Sunday morning. So is the behind the scene, the engine. So administration is like the engine behind the whole operation. And consider a vehicle without an engine. What was going to happen? Can't move without an engine. So it's almost like an engine that keeps running, that allows it to function effectively. So when per se, for example, we plan a conference, it's months of work, putting elements together, planning, doing everything, putting the process in place, scheduling, and doing all these things. What the quality that comes out on the day of the event is just the output, but the work actually begins. So for me, I love working behind the scene. And the beautiful thing about my work as admin is that because I get to work with ministers and pastors and to help them to be more functional, to help them to put more processes together and to allow them room to grow and to work. And it is beautiful to know that you can see yourself helping in that process. And when you see church growing, when you see different elements coming together, you feel good to know that yes, this is the part of it. Interesting, in New Life, I've been here before New NLCC come together, and even the foundation work of coming together, put the vision together, the mission together, and putting the structures together and working behind the scene. I feel good to know that you see the work coming together. People will see the product and they will see you up there, but what happened behind the scene is ministry. Another thing for me is ministry is to know that you can touch life, impact life personally. This can be at your workspace. This can be on the road. Not going to say a lot, but interestingly, I, of course, operate a business, and several experiences I have, but this one is so current. This one is actually on Monday. A customer walks in and he wants something to be done, but he made an utterance that we were uncomfortable about. So it pauses me when I hear what he says. It passes me and I say, no, I want to speak to this gentleman. He left the office and went out and went in search of him. Didn't see him, and somebody who saw him sent him back in here later in the day. I went to talk to the gentleman. The gentleman um, were planning to do an action that we wouldn't have been good. It could have been suicide, or he was planning to maybe kill his spouse based on some things that happened. And it's work day, a busy work day, and we decided to call the gentleman, talk to him, pour into him, and literally prayed for him. Took his number and decided to pray behind the scene and call him up and do it. On a work day, I mean, all we are here to make money, just to serve customer. They get service, we get our money and gone. But we see ministry as, we hear something, instead of just let it pass through, we decided to intervene. Now, can you imagine? We heard that this man killed his wife or killed himself. How we would feel to know that we hear something and do nothing about it. So for me, ministry is every single opportunity you get. And I believe that one of the things about this business is that it gives me a platform to know a lot of things, give me insight, and help me to be able to minister. Even when I go out and I take pictures and people see how I work, by the by the time I'm finished, I get the comments. I love how you do stuff. You just do it differently. I appreciate your work, and this is the joy I get to know that you're not just doing something for the money, but you're doing it, but you're ministering at the same time. And many times for ministry, it's not about saying Jesus either. Sometimes just to bring hope and just to bring some peace to somebody that makes them reflect and see something different about this person, and it will question them to even come to acknowledge that there's a God somewhere. So ministry is not just on a Sunday morning or on a Sunday morning. It is every single day intentionally.
I love that, every single day intentionally. And I was listening to your story just now. And folks, this is what ministry is really about. And I love the fact that you went out looking for the gentleman. You went out looking for the gentleman because you realized that there was an opportunity to speak something positive into his life, and you didn't
Right.
let it slide. A lot of persons don't understand that even the one word that you speak to this individual would have changed the trajectory of his life, the decisions
Right.
that he's about to make. And this is how you minister. This is how you live a God-filled life. This is how you show Jesus in your life every day, Monday to Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right throughout the week. And I'm sure that he will remember. You see that
Oh yeah.
lady over that store? I went over there and I'm tell, man, I was at a place in my life, and the lady talked to me, man. It really talked to me, and man, I gotta do something still. And when she finished, can I tell you, I changed my mind. That lady a Christian, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You
We
know?
get it all. We get it all the time, because one of the things that we do as a company, every morning we open with prayer. And if we're praying and a customer walks in, we just invite them just to sit for a few minutes and pray. And a lot of time, I remember one lady, she said, "Miss, I've never seen that going to work with and seeing them praying." I know, and she had so much thing bombarding her for the day. And when she just began to put and even start to cry, and she said, "You don't understand what this does to us." And we have many customers we invite them to church by just, we just invite them, just say, "Yeah, man, you can stay and pray." We pray with them in the morning. So simple things, gestures, you don't know how it goes afar with a person's in his life, and or you intercept them at a point that is critical to them based on what they're planning to do next.
You know, you are so right. I have a perfect example for this. On, I think it was maybe Tuesday when I finished the show here, I was um I was leaving the building and I was talking to the administrator upstairs, and she while talking to her, someone came into the building, and she looked at me and she smiled, and she said, "Pastor Odette." And I said, "Hello." I have no clue who this person is. And
Mhm.
she said, "How are you doing?" And I said, I'm doing well." And she said, "You don't remember me, do you?" And I said, "No." And I felt so bad because I didn't remember her. And I'm trying to put her face to some event or something, and I could not do it for the life of me. And she said to me, "You have no idea as to how you impacted my life." And I'm like, "Okay." And she said it was 2018. So, this even, I'm like, "What?" And she said, "Yes, I met you in 2018. And I remember I was going through a very difficult time. And I remember you stopped and you spoke something into me that I've held on to all these years. And after you spoke to me, you stopped for a long time. And it was a long conversation and you didn't move. And you were sitting there for hours talking to me. And I hold on to it. And I was a brand new Christian. And she said to me, she said, over the years, she has been looking for me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and all she was saying that I still could not put
You
her.
couldn't connect. And
I,
that's the thing about our life is that every single day we impact somebody's life, and it can be positive or negative. And that's why we have to ensure that it's a positive impact, because sometimes you get the opportunity to hear it, and sometimes like, can you imagine what something bad that you did, and 5 years later she's telling you how that happened. So it's good to know that without you even knowing, you are impacting somebody's life.
yes, it is so true. And that is how you operate as a kingdom ambassador,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
A kingdom ambassador. Can you imagine if I had just gone about my business, not
Mm-hmm.
talked to her, right?
Right.
And the fact she said she was a new convert at the time, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and for her to have said, you know what you said impacted me, and it has impacted me all these years, and I have been looking for you. And then she said to me, the other day I saw you on YouTube, and I'm like, and she said, oh, there she is, and I thought to myself, oh my, and it's good to hear. It's good to
Yeah.
hear that,
Yeah.
I'm making a change and I'm impactful. But it's also
Definitely.
good to know that you're representing Christ not only on a Sunday, right? Because I can come on a Sunday, you can come on a Sunday, and we see you, as you said, up there, and but guess what? During the week, we're not nice.
Tell you right.
So it is. I love it, and I applaud you, because you know what, a lot of persons who wear the hat of Christians and they are in their business would not have left and looked for that man.
Right. Right.
Yes, so I applaud you for that. I really do applaud you for that, and I pray that you'll continue. And I love the fact that you do devotions. I love the fact that you do, and that is one thing I love about Jamaica. That's one thing I love about Jamaica. A lot of the businesses are, because it's a Christian nation, a lot of businesses tend to do devotions in the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
And you just send me back into my memory box. I remember when I was working at the bank, we actually did devotion in the bank every morning,
Yeah.
before we opened up. So it is good. You're setting the pace for the day.
Right.
Awesome. All right. So what inspires you? We've been talking about a lot of the things that you do, right? We're gonna go further into the podcast, and we're gonna be talking about. You talked about love and hope. We're gonna talk about that a little bit, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about your business. But I want to know, what inspires you when you get up in the morning. What's your inspiration? What drives you?
What inspires me? I mean, it doesn't have to be a big thing like wanting to be the best businesswoman in the world, or wanting to live on the hill, or wanting to have a great name and title. Because I'm not necessarily a title person. Just call me Shella, the Jesus ambassador, and I'm good. They don't even have to put on Mrs. Friend and all those fancy names. That is fine. I want to be known as as a person who will bring hope, and who will bring a change to people. And that is what pushes and inspires me. I am from a district where it's very remote. And when you have a parent who started having children early, your father a drunkard, your mother a housewife, you have so many brothers and sisters and stuff, it pushes you, or it's one of two things. You can continue on that tradition, or you can think about your life and see how you can be a different and make a difference. And for me, I wanted to make a difference. So when I'm able to go back to my community and people see me as a product of my community, not in the corner like what would have happened. You leave high school and the next best thing is to find a boyfriend, have children, or on the corner smoking weed. And when they can see me driving back in my community and seeing hope and seeing me change, that is what inspires me. When people look at me and say, I want to be like you, you grow up, you want to be like, Michael Jackson, you want to be like Oprah, and you want all these things. And when a person wants to be like Marshella, it must be that they see something or some element of hope or change in me that they want to become. And for me, it's about impacting my circle. And my circle don't have to be in England or in far out. It can just be around you. You know, this interesting thing I think about Pastor Odette is that person will be friends with you on Instagram and Facebook, and they're not friends with you in real life. Not that because they're living distant from you, they may be even be your neighbor, and something happened and it reached on Facebook, and you're right there, need a cup of tea or a glass of water or some help, and it reach on YouTube, and you don't get the help you want. I want to be the person that can be a practical help and inspiration to those around me. So whatever I can say to you that brings some hope, whatever I can do to bring that hope, I'm going to do it in my circle until the circle spread as big and as wide and as many persons are empowered. So that is why that's what inspires me. Another thing that really, really, really is core and dear to my heart is Love and Hope Ministry, of which I'm a member for the last 15 or more years, because I get an opportunity to go into the schools on a monthly basis. Every month we go into the school, and we bring, of course, gifts and a token to the children so that they can have lunch money and stuff for the month. But we also get to share with them. No, these are children who are less fortunate or at risk, where they may not have a parent or may live in some communities or violent communities, that the one that when I can really talk to them and minister to them and hear them speak, and to see that I am able to intervene at a critical point in their life and bring hope and peace to them, I look forward to doing that, and it really, really pushes me to want to do more and to be practical, not just saying that people want help, not just reading it or just going up and preach it, but to literally go out there and shake a hand, give a hug, give a little lunch money to somebody that needs you at a point where you don't know what would have happened next if it is that you did not do that. So those are the things, apart from other things are in terms of wanting to see myself become my best self and all of that, but I'm more wanting to impact and to be that change and that source of inspiration for the persons around me.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. I love it. You want to be impactful. And a lot of people live their lives, and they're so selfish.
Right.
You're so selfish, and I'm listening to you, and I'm what, and this is why I love this segment, because the persons that I bring on, I tend to get so much more information about them, that you get to look at them in a totally different light, right? And I love the fact that you want to be impactful, and it's not about the titles, it's not about the popularity, the fame, or anything like that. It is about making a impression on someone and making a change in that person's life. And when you can even find some time, you have your personal life, you have your business, you have the ministry that you're a part of, but Love and Hope, you actually find time to go out into the schools. And even when you're mentioning that you go back into your community and you want persons to see that, yes, this can be you. I love it. 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 Thank you so much for being an example that we can look to say, okay, I want to be like this person. Because, oftentimes a lot of these celebrities that you don't know, you don't even know how they live
You
their
don't
personal lives.
know,
You don't
yeah.
you don't know their beliefs. You don't know what it is that they
Right.
do behind closed doors, and
Mm-hmm.
we go yay for them. You know what? But when we have someone that we can actually touch, someone that is right here with us, it is wonderful that you say that, what, it's not about the accolades. It's not about getting to the pinnacle of the who is who. It is about making an impact. And yes, folks, today we're talking to Marshella Brown-FEARON, and she is making an impact here on Balancing on Purpose. I want to thank you all for listening to this wonderful broadcast this morning, where we're talking to her out of Jamaica. And you know what? We just touched on what inspires her, and she mentioned many different things, but it is being impactful that is at the forefront of her mind. She wants to make sure that when she comes into your life, she comes into your life with a brand new difference, with a change, that she makes a difference in the lives of individuals that she come across. And I applaud her for that. I really applaud you, woman of God. All right. So you mentioned that, what community are you from? You mentioned that you're from a small community. Where are
Browns.
you?
In the rural part of Brownsville, St. Catherine, the rural part of St. Catherine.
Oh, girl. Okay, yes, it
You might
rural.
not see it on the map. That's okay. You might not see it on the map, but yes, that's where I'm from.
Browns Hall,
Yes.
Browns Hall, St. Catherine. All
St.
right, so don't know if anyone from Browns Hall, St. Catherine is listening to me today on HGG Radio, but big up Browns Hall in St. Catherine. All right, we have a product of Browns Hall here, and we want to big up Browns Hall. See what came out of Browns Hall. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so Shella. All right, so what advice would you give to someone that is trying to find their purpose?
All right. Just I would say use what you got. Don't live your life in fear or regret. It's gonna haunt you. So right now, just think about yourself, do a self check, and use what you have. Deep within us, God put some purpose inside of us, and everybody is different. Don't try to be like somebody else. Think about your life and see what it is that you have. You could be a singer, and God wanted to use singing and your voice as a ministry. You could be somebody who can talk. You can do something that whatever you have, do it. Don't allow the void that is inside to continue to grow and become bigger. All right, find that space in you that will want you to do more, to expand whatever you have. To when you expand, it's a matter of expanding it so that you can glorify God. The only way that God will get the glory out of any gifting and ability that He gives you is whenever you use it, when you bring light, when you shed some light to it and use it for His purpose and His kingdom. So become that person who is intentional about seeking Him and ask Him and He will help us to show you. And that thing that He placed on your heart, that you can't sleep unless you think about it, or you wake up in the morning with it, or you find yourself doing without even it comes so second nature to do it. That might just be your purpose. Just go for it and get it done. A lot of times you may be doing stuff and you don't get the people may not see your vision, or you may not get the kind of support that you want, but that is okay. Sometimes your journey just for you just to go and just do it, and then everything will just fall in. Like God knows how to set us up with destiny helpers, with persons who will come along and jump on you on board, but it takes you to come out of that mold, come out of that box and begin and start. It's not going to start by you just in that box. You have to come out of the box and see the light and know that God will take care of you. That's what He promised. You know? He said that before He knows, he have a plan for our life. Our plan is well set out. But we have to be intentional about living that plan that He has for you. Because you know the plan is there. You know, money's in your account. Somebody put some money in your account, and unless you go to the bank and draw it or spend, it's gonna just be there and stuff. People have money and hungry and bills now paid. But you have to be intentional about living that purpose and ensure that you are manifesting that which God would have deposited in you. So He would have been into circles and spaces for a reason. That reason because He wants to expose you. That reason because He wants to bring you into a space where you can see yourself and you can see Him some more. And this is where He wants to use you. So go for it. Go for it. Use what you got. And like me, who always feel like, and still feel like I should just be working behind the scene, and even though God has pushed me in front by starting my podcast, sometimes it will take you out of your comfort zone, out of your space, out of you being ordinary. But you have to just trust Him. And Peter, if Peter did probably operate in his own strength, he would be standing there. But he walked on water. Why? Because he trusts God. That all right then, it may sink or so, but you tell him to come, I'm going to just come. So just live your purpose. Just go for it.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right. So when you're seeking your purpose, always talk to the Lord about it, and whatever that He's placed in your heart, that little nagging thing that you're always thinking about. Yes, man. And God will put you in rooms where you're thinking that you're not qualified to be in those rooms.
Yes.
And when God doesn't make mistakes, He does not make mistakes. And so, even with you not wanting to be in front of the camera, because I know that for your business, you are behind the camera and you don't want to be in front of the camera. Can I tell you, I believe that God is doing a new thing in this season where you're concerned, because along with the podcast, here you are this morning talking to persons across the nations of the world about living a balanced life, living a purposeful life. So God doesn't make a mistake. So guess what? I know you don't want to be in front of the camera, but maybe this is the season for you to be in front of the camera, right? And I love it. I love it because when God puts you with destiny helpers, He's going to put you with destiny helpers to propel you in your purpose. So, folks, you heard it here. All right, you heard it here. Don't shy away from what God is pulling you into, because oftentimes it may be out of your comfort zone.
Mhm.
It may not be something that you would have readily chosen for yourself, right? But God knows what material He's made you with. And so He knows what is there to come out, right? So we're not going to listen to what anybody around us say. You know, one time, I think this is some years ago, somebody said to me, he sent a message to me on Facebook, and when he saw that I was in ministry, and I mean, he knows that, you know, I was doing administrative work for church back home in Jamaica, and I was on the choir. But then he said, "I never picture you there, so
Hmm.
you seem so
Doesn't
quiet."
matter.
And I you know what? Even the other day, I remember that he sent that message. Says, "You always seem so quiet and shy." And I was thinking in my head, you know, because I know a lot of persons used to think that I'm quiet and shy. But if you really know me, no, I'm not quiet and shy at all. You know, but God will put you in the room where you need to be. All right.
Right.
So, all right, I'm seeing R.O. Morrison jumping on, and he says that this is the season to be in front of the camera. All right. That one is for you. This is the season to be in front of the camera. That I believe. That I believe. All right. So, looking back over the years, and I listened to some of the stuff that you said earlier. You're talking about coming from poverty, and you talked about the district that you're from. So looking back, what has been your biggest accomplishment?
My biggest accomplishment. Wow. Everybody know that I'm a small win person. My biggest accomplishment is not owning a business, driving a car, or owning a house. It's for me to be able to represent my family and my community and those around me. Um, when I see where I am from and how it is that my life is able to make a difference for them, I believe that is an accomplishment for me. Because if I wasn't that person who would have taken what I have and make it what I have now, then I don't know if that would have made a difference for them. So when I look and see the quality of my family change from being a nobody to being a family that people can recognize, I think that is remarkable. People may see it as okay or ordinary because of course they may be from a different background. But for me, I knew where we were and I know where we are. I know where we're set to become if it is that there wasn't somebody to intervene in that. And so for me, that's for me is a great accomplishment. For me to own a business is an accomplishment, not for me to say, well, yes, I'm a businesswoman, but for me to be able to, for persons who see me and know who I am, where I'm from, to know that there's no startup for me any at all. There's no family legacy. There's no advice. There's no representative in my family. And for me to be here, it's an accomplishment to know that persons who see that can see themselves here. And for me to represent those people, to represent that community, to represent those voices, to say that this is you, for them to see themselves as me, for me to say I am that girl, that for me is an accomplishment. And of course, to remain a Christian in this time and age, I tell you, is not easy. It is definitely not easy. So I'm able to be able to continue in God and for allowing Him to use me. Because the truth is, Pastor, I knew from I was small that there is something different about me. I knew because of how the different people that would have come in my life, how they treated me. it's not normal for people to treat a little black girl nice, because when you come from certain community and certain country, to be black is not the nicest thing. You get names being black, but I always get a compliment on how I look. Even before I understood where I'm going, people would tell me that, yeah, there's so much in you, that I was wondering, what is that so much? But I listen to those words and I ponder over them, and I package them somewhere that someday they will manifest. And so for me to be able to represent these, for me it is great for to know that this is where you could have been, but because of this, God unpick you, because of how He would have molded you, because you mentioned about interspaces. There are some space that I have seen myself in, and sometimes I pinch myself and say, this is you. And so it may not seem like a big thing for somebody else, but because I know my journey and how far it was and how much work it takes for me to be here, I'm grateful to be that person, to be that girl.
I love it. I love it. I'm realizing that you're very family oriented. You're very family oriented, and you want a question before I even say anything else. You mentioned your siblings, and you mentioned that if your sisters get pregnant and you go to the hospital, whatever. How many children, how many siblings are there?
This is a tricky question. And every time I ask this question, I have to go back in my memory box to count. But it's a whole lot of us pass out there. So
All right. So what number
I'm
you
about
fall? What
I'm
number
about
you fall?
18. I'm supposed to fall at about number 9 of 17 of 18.
What? What? The what?
So it's quite a bit. So sometimes I don't remember where I fall in line. So I would have been the second one for my mother, and about the ninth or so for my father, because my father have two sets of children. So my mother would have been the younger one. So I would have been the second one for my mother, and way down the line for my father. So yeah.
All right. So the reason why I ask that is because I hear the responsibility that you're carrying. So I
Yeah.
wanted to know if you were like the firstborn. So that's why I asked that
So,
question, because
so
the
even though
level
even
of
though I'm not the even
responsibility that
even though
you're
I'm not the
carrying, that is not
firstborn,
normal. And I'm
right?
mhm.
So even though I'm not the firstborn for my mom, it will always it would appear that way because I represent that big sister based on who I am and based on how God would have positioned me in the family. I shared this one, I share it quickly to your audience, and I shared it Sunday because we're in a space and based on atmosphere, I shared it that as from coming from a big family, a poor family, and all of that, I represent the first in a number of instances in my family. First of a business, first to get married, first to this and university, a number of firsts. And I was able to break what was before and create a new tradition for my family. So we're talking about curse and prevent that. So all of my sisters before, 6 of them before, actually got pregnant in high school. And the works, you're poor and all of that, and you get to have children, the works go on. And as much I was a Christian from I'm 11, so I've been in the church arena. Of course, you leave the church for a little while, but you always have that spirituality and you come back into church. And so I've always knew about curses and bondage and all of that, but never fully understood. But I was always a person who looked deep into stuff, who took meaning from everything, every detail matters to me. I was always a thinker and a different in the family. So I realized that everybody get pregnant in high school. No, I would have been the second one for my mother, and my sister head of, which is the one that I follow. She got pregnant in high school. So who next? It would have been me, right? And I remember I heard my father made an utterance. I didn't understand it fully, but I could understand the hurt he felt to know that he said everybody feel him and the same thing I am going to do. And that broke something in me that day, that I said something that this is not going to happen to me or anyone else. So I don't know if I said it in so many words, but I knew I said that intentionally that this is going to happen. And I was able to graduate from high school, didn't get pregnant, move on to work and all of that. My 7 sisters that follow me left high school, didn't get pregnant, and start working and doing until when they're ready to get pregnant. So for me, so I may not represent everybody in the world, but for me to be able to do that, to represent my family and persons around in my community who would have known our statistics, who would have labeled us and knew what would have become otherwise. It brings hope to those around in my community, and even person who know and seen me would have understood that there's something special about what God has done in my life.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You are the chain breaker. You are the one that shifted the trajectory of your family.
Mm-hmm.
You are the one that caused everything to go in a different direction,
Yeah.
and because of something that was deposited in you from the Lord. And I love it. I love folks, you're hearing it here, right here on HGG Radio. Family oriented. And family is the core of our society. And if we have a
Mm-hmm.
dysfunctional family, then we're going to have a dysfunctional society.
Right.
And so
Right.
when we have someone that is looking out for the family and wanting their family to be different, wanting their family to move from the position of poverty, wanting some things to change in the trajectory of their family, that is an awesome thing. And so I absolutely love the fact that you put that accomplishment in terms of you know where you're coming from. You know what struggles you have to undergo to get to your position. And so when you look at the community, you come out and you look at your family and you look at it's like, yes, you can smile. And it is not prideful. It is not prideful. It is a sense of accomplishment. It is a sense of accomplishment. You know what? I'm listening to you know, and so this little joke come back in my head. I remember, and when you said that, to some people, it may not be anything. It may not be anything. And I remember when I migrated to Canada, there was a friend of mine that she migrated also. So both of us migrated from Jamaica at the same time. And I remember we are from St. Anne together. And I didn't know her before then. But we come to a strange country. She's from St. Anne, I'm from St. Anne. So it's like we stick together. And I remember one day we were at the mall. And when we're at the mall, and she looked at me, she said, Odette, me I look around, and me say, and I'm not going to call her name, she said, girl, are you this that foreign? Oh man, you're that foreign man, you're that. Are you?
Yeah. Right.
I
Right.
told and I know a lot of persons would think that trivial, right? But
Mm-hmm.
she knows
Where
why
you're
it
coming
meant
from.
so much to her.
Yeah.
She had to literally pinch herself, to say, okay, I am actually here. Every time I remember, I have to laugh. But you know what? Is when you walk in somebody's shoe, then you understand
Oh
what
yeah.
they're saying. And it's not prideful.
Not at all. Not at
Not
all.
not prideful. It is like, oh wow, look where God has brought me from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look at
Mm-hmm.
where God has brought me from. All right, so I'm seeing Aro Morrison is here. I'm seeing Pastor Cindy is also here. Dr. Stephanie Thomas, she just jumped on and she said greetings to us. All right, so greetings to all our listeners from across the nations of the world. All right, so I'm seeing a lot of persons jumping on from Jamaica. So I want to say a big shout out to Jamaica, but I'm also seeing a great contingent from the US of A. And they're here with us this morning. I'm seeing Germany in the house. I am seeing the UK in the house. So guess what? You say you don't want to go in front of the camera. You reach Germany,
What?
right? You see, this is what God is doing in this season. So
Yes.
right across the world, we're hearing your story this morning. So this little girl from out of that district, yes, all the way in Germany, they're listening to your story this morning. And that's how God works. And that's how God propels. All right, so we're talking this morning about balancing on purpose. All right, so one question here. What do you wish you had known when you had started out? You know it now, but you wish you had known it earlier.
What one thing? Um, I can't pinpoint anything because one of the things about me is that when I look back on my journeys was rough and tough, but I learned to appreciate every single element of my journey, and I understood what it represents. So looking back, If it would have been okay to know, but I'm okay not knowing and fall and trusting God, in the process. So, I'm okay. I'm grateful. One of the things, I remember when I look back at my life and see where I was and now, I appreciate the fact that, the incubator process is always a good place to be. And so the process that I go through in terms of my upbringing, I remember one person while we're experiencing COVID, and he said to me, "Boy, oh, how you manage, Shella, what the business I manage, and how are you, moving forward?" I said to him that my worst, I can't, and I don't think COVID is doing me anything what I've gone through in growing up. So I've gone through some rough time that nothing can rougher than what I've gone through. And I may not spill all the detail, but rough, rough, rough. And so I appreciate that. And so it helped me. It becomes my platform. It becomes my source of resilience. That it's hard for nothing to throw me off in a way that I can bounce back or come back into line. So I learned to appreciate all the detail of my life, all the elements, learning the lessons from whatever it is, and appreciating where I'm at now, and also where God is taking me into the next.
All right, all right. I love these are some sound words, and you're making me think here. But some very sound words because a lot of times persons wish they had known things earlier. They wish they could have done a particular thing earlier or different. But you are appreciating the entire journey because you recognize that as hard as some parts were, it has made you and molded you into who you are.
Right,
And if it wasn't for those things, then you wouldn't be this level headed individual,
right, right,
you know? And I absolutely love that about you. You're just so calm. Sometimes you're in a boat and the boat start rocking everybody. Oh, you look like the one person is going to say, okay, everybody, calm down, calm down. So it's always good to have that one person that is very level headed and very calm.
that's always easy, but it's yes, when you understand, what you are and what you represent, it
Mhm.
makes a difference.
I love that and what you represent and who you represent. I
Yeah,
love it. I
right,
love it. So no one can ever see you acting out of character. That's wonderful. That's awesome. They will not see you acting out of character because you know who you represent. And you're not only represent I love you talked about representing the Lord, right? So you're representing the Lord as a kingdom ambassador. But guess what? You're representing your family and you're representing your community. So there's a lot on your shoulders. And I pray
Mhm.
that the Lord will just keep you strengthened because I see that there are persons looking up to you and you recognize that. And because of that, you're walking in excellence because you want to do a good job. And you're going to hear, well done, thou good and faithful servant. All
Mhm.
right. So this is the big question, all right? And I have three more big questions, but this is one of the big ones. All right. So, um, with everything that we mentioned, so we talked about a few things and we highlighted a few things, but I want you to tell me, how do you keep the balance? How do you keep the balance? Because you have the business that you operate, right? That in of itself is phenomenal. That in of itself will take up 100% of some people's time and nothing else could come on the plate, right? You look like, then you go to the banquet, you look like that person that take up the plate and I don't know how you make it fit on the plate. And you look in the plate and you see the curry goat, you see the chicken, you see the oxtail, you see the potato salad, you see the rice. I was like, how they make all of that fit on the plate, you know? But I want you to tell us this morning, how do you balance it all? How do you balance um the business? How do you balance it with your home, with your husband, with the kids, your family? Again, you highlight your family in almost every answer that you've given, right? With the extra work that you take on with love and hope. That and being the general secretary for an international organization. How do you balance it all?
It's when now that you're talking about it, I'm trying to figure out it as well. Because when you hear them all together, I'm saying, wow, do I do all of that? You know. But the truth is, it's just strange that everybody get the same 24 hours in the day. And I was wondering, sometimes I'm in the business of borrowing some, or begging some extra hours. But I realize that if I borrow extra hours, I'm going to have more things added onto what I have to do. So it makes sense I just stick with the 24 and try and work it. But I don't think about everything like that. I just do what I have to do intentionally. So as a business, I try to structure the business in a way whereby the business operates whether I'm here or not in physically in it, it is operating, and I do the expansion. One of the good thing about the business is that I'm just a servant. I'm just so it's Jesus business. So he does all the promotion, he does all the advertisement. So I just put the functionalities in place and stuff, and he does the rest. And that is the truth about the business. I don't promote or advertise or pay those things because God just always set us up. That's one of the good part about it. But in terms of putting the functionalities, it works. So being a businesswoman, jumping home and have to be a mother and a wife, but the good thing about that part about it is that my husband, he really, really, really give me the room and space, and I must take the time just to honor him now, because a lot of persons are not able to do this because you're bombarded with the issues, you're not being home on time, or you have this to do and all of that. He will take care of stuff. So when it comes to cooking and all those nice things at home, he will do all of that. Doing the girls, taking care of them, doing the homework, and preparing them for bedtime. He will do that. So when I come home, I ensure that I reach home early enough so that I can greet them and chit chat with them a little bit and stuff. But I don't have to worry about some elements of it because it just balance how he works. He works things in. To be able to do the different ministries, it doesn't matter of being setting my goals. So each day, for each week, I will look at my week, see where the things that I have to do, and I will fill them up with tasks. There are rooms for adjustments. That's just in case somebody called me and want to do stuff, and maybe want to go to a PTA meeting or something. There's a room for flexibility. But I ensure that I have a plan or a goal each week and each day. I spend at least the first hour of my day. If you call me anytime before 9 o'clock in the morning, you won't get me, because that's my space of meditation and preparing for the day. Because if I don't do that, my day gets messy and I don't get to do the thing that I have to do because I want to ensure that I execute. So I spend that time into meditation and I do that. And then that's how I prepare my week to be able to know that I have Love and Hope Ministry today, I have church tonight, I have this appointment to do for work, I have this family member who wants me to do that, and I still find time to hang out with my sisters or go out. I still have that because guess what? I put the system in place and the element to plan different aspect of my day and week so that I'm able to achieve those. And I put that you mentioned balancing, because it's not balanced, and that's it. That each time different things come, you have to make adjustments. For example, like maybe for me being a general secretary, between the time of January and February, no conference is high. Conference would have been my main focus in getting things planned. Yes, I have the family. Yes, I still have work. Yes, I still have all these things. But one thing would maybe get a little more focus than the other. So it's about ensuring that you're making the sense of adjustment to get done what needs to be done. The thing about it, I just have to be intentional. I know that I have to do all of these things and just try putting the system in place and the plan so that I'm able to do everything. So I don't think about everything in totality, because if you think about it, you say, boy, why me do so much something? Why me? And at the end of the day, you're still calling on different responsibilities at church and all of that. But I never fully understand what the term when you said to whom much is given, much is required. I'm still trying to learn it as well. But I realize that when you're deposited so much, then the expectation that a return must come. And I believe that I don't want to waste the return, but I want to ensure that the investment is used up in an effective way. So I just ensure that I plan my day, plan my week, plan my month, and so that everything gets done in a particular manner. Thank God it's not falling apart.
Wonderful, wonderful. You plan, and you have to plan. Folks, you have to plan. When you see persons who are multifaceted, like our guest here this morning, they have to plan. You think she just get up and haphazardly do her day routine. No, she sits and she plans. And I love the fact that you have a very supportive husband at home to keep the balance there so that you can function in all of the other areas and you function with an excellent spirit. And I also love the fact that you have your meditation and your time when you start your day with the Lord. That is the most important thing. Because if you don't start the day right, you're not going to end. The day is just going to be chaotic. So I
Right.
love the fact that you plan and you put it together. And another thing that I like that you said is that you adjust accordingly.
Right.
Because sometimes some people don't know how to adjust,
Hmm. Right.
right? And so whatever needs priority at that point in time, that is going to get priority. And again, you mentioned, oh, if a nephew want to go to PTA, man, your family must love you. So she's just so family oriented. And I love it. I love it. I had no idea. I know that sometimes when I call you and you'll say to me, Pastor, this evening we're doing some things with the family and so on, so on, so on, so on. I'm like, okay, okay. But hearing it more now, I am realizing and I feel a little jealous. I feel a little jealous. I'm from a very small family.
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
very small. Just me and my brother. Just, just that's it.
I can't.
Small family.
I can't imagine that. Like I can't imagine. I wouldn't know it feel.
And I've always looked at persons from large families. It's like, I wonder what it is like to have a sister or to have another brother. That yeah, it's just me and my brother. But we are close. We're close. Closely knitted. But like how you have nephews and this family and that family thing. And I love the fact that you are focused on making sure that your family is at the forefront of what you're doing. All right. So, haha, not a big one. What are you not good at?
What am I not good at? Um, what am I not good at? I don't know if I'm the best speaker or the best speaker. I don't think I am, and that's why I shy away from speaking and come in front of the camera and all those stuff. So that is just not my thing. Um, so back in the day, you would pride yourself as being shy and stuff, but realize that this is not where God wants to be. So you have to just adjust yourself. But for me, I well in business, I'm not a good marketer and promoter. I should say that. Thank God that the Lord took on that role from day one. So I'm not a good marketer, not a good promoter. I will try little bits and pieces, but I'm not good at selling myself or selling the business in any way just to make money. One of the things that would just try to provide excellent service, the facility, and people, the word will spread and have the networking that works. So I can't pinpoint anything that I don't do. For me, I'm always up for a challenge. If something that I have to do, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try. I mean, I remember trying to do something since we were introducing a new product, and the first one failed. And I said, okay, that's okay. At least we try. I didn't fail. I just tried, and it didn't work. So I'm gonna try something. If it's not my comfort zone, I may not do it again. I would make another attempt, but I'm just always willing to make a move.
I like that. I like that. So you're always up for a challenge. So even if it looks daunting, like, you know what? All right, let me take. You see, she's just so calm. Um, Dr. Stephanie said that she said what it says, nothing ruffles her, right? So when you see that hurdle, I can imagine you just take a deep breath and like, okay. All right. We have to do this. Those high jumpers, and you do this thing and you're like, I can just imagine that in your mind, that is how you approach something. Like you just calmly look at the thing and say, all right, never done this before. Don't know how it's going to turn out, but we're going to try.
Let us figure it out.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Not daunted in the face of adversity or in the face of the unknown. And that says volumes. That says volume. All right. Last question of the day. Last question of the day. What is your favorite food?
I can't salvage.
Girl, yay!
Salford with anything, with bread, with crackers, with rice, with dumpling, with anything. Just ackee and saltfish with anything. Ackee and saltfish. But the thing, I'm not a big chef and I don't cook. I maybe cook 1 or 2 times for the year. But if I'm gonna cook though, I'm gonna cook shrimp fried rice.
Okay.
So I'm kind of, whenever I'm doing that, I will have a crowd around. That's the only
Mm.
thing that I will do. But from what I love to eat, I can't saltfish with
Oh,
anything.
you are a woman of my own heart. Yes, you are. You are. You are. I've had many guests come on, and quite, the majority so far has said ackee and saltfish. I've had a few stray ones that give me some weird things. Which is weird, but that's what they like. But yes, I would eat ackee and saltfish anything. So
Any day. Just
yes,
wake me up and I'm
when I'm in
ready to eat.
Jamaica, we can go out and eat our ackee and saltfish, right?
Yes.
All right. So I want to thank you this morning for coming on the segment Balancing on Purpose. Folks, you heard it here, right here on HGG Radio. I want to thank all our listeners from across the nations of the world. We had a wonderful conversation this morning with Marshella Brown-FEARON out of Jamaica, a woman that is multifaceted. She wears many hats and she does it so gracefully and she does it with an excellent spirit. And I want to thank her for taking some time out of her busy schedule because I know that she's on the job. I know that she's in her place of business. But she took the time out to talk to us here on HGG Radio. And she talked about balancing life, balancing with family, with friends, with ministry, everything, and how she goes about making sure that Jesus is represented in every area of her life. All right, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to wrap up with us this morning, Shella.
All right, so the final thing I want to talk about is me being a podcaster. Didn't see it coming at all, but one thing always happens is I'm this person who will check up on people, and when I do, I look for clues. Sometimes you call to people and say, all right, you're gonna hear yes. But when you ask question that provokes them to say something, you'll hear deeper. And that's the kind of person I am, always having person in my heart and to do. And this podcast was placed on my heart, 2 years ago, and it took me a while to manifest it because I was saying, God, this is not me, all of this, and the long and short, it happened. Training with Chella is a space where we invite persons for conversation. So on this journey called life, everybody has to live this life every single day. And sometimes we talk to people and you will hear, boy, you don't understand what I'm going through. But the truth is somebody understand, because on this journey, somebody may pass through this space and can help you or tell you something that happened along the way. And it may help you to not make that mistake or help you to make some adjustments. And in sharing our experience with each other, we recommend that there's something similar about us or something similar about the journey we can share. And that's what Training with Shella has birthed. Invite persons to share their experience, share their life. So we talk about issues that will affect all of us generally. And people can have a conversation just to empower each other and to make positive change in our own life. So this podcast is aired every last Sunday, called Trending with Shella. We have a YouTube channel. We also have an Instagram page where you can get information about the show. But if you want a space where you can grow, you can have practical people can share their own life story, not something they read in a book or hear somewhere else, but their life to help you make your life better. That's what we're about. And I'm grateful to be that person who is able to facilitate the process of bringing people together to talk and to share and to help that. So as a Christian and a Jesus ambassador, for me, is every single day intentional about doing great for God. So whatever it is that the Lord wants me to do, I'm just open and ready to be that person where if he's looking for somebody to use, I'm here. If I go on the road and person's looking for somebody to represent Christ, I want to be that person. I want to carry a name that represents not just me, because if it was up to me alone, I just go my way and do what I want to do. Because I represent something great and a greater kingdom. The way I behave, the way I act, what the things I do, it must represent not just myself or my family, but I represent God and bring that change and that hope to those persons around me. And for anybody would hear about me, I would have been known for that, to be that girl.
Absolutely fantastic. I thank you. I thank you so much for coming on to our segment this morning. And folks, you heard it right here. She has recognized that it is not about her. There is a bigger picture here, and she is representing and representing well. Yes, to whom much is given, much is required, and you're serving with an excellent spirit. So I know that you hear it often, but you're going to hear it here publicly on HGG Radio from me. You are doing a fantastic job, and keep it up. Thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Thank you too. Thank you for having me, and thank you, listeners. Hope you are blessed.
All right. So, yes, I do see some comments here from the listeners on the viewers, actually, that have been watching from YouTube and Facebook. And so we are seeing them commenting. And yes, they are thinking that it was a wonderful conversation. And so, to all the listeners that actually stayed on hgg.ca, thank you so much for staying with us throughout this conversation piece with Marshella Brown-FEARON out of Jamaica. I'm sure that you got some very insightful nuggets from this phenomenal woman. And so we're going to be leaving the Facebook and YouTube space for now because we're about to wrap up here on HGG Radio. And just remember that purpose cannot die.
That's right.
Thank you, Lord. They wrote me off. They thought I would die. They tried to bury me while I was alive. They never know purpose. Can I die?
HGG Radio.
They thought I was hopeless, but I survived. They wrote me off. Yeah, they thought I would die. They tried to bury me while I was alive. They never know purpose. Can I die? They thought
All right. Once you hear this song, you know that this is our ending song. And we're saying, Lord, bless us indeed. So I'm going to sign off from Facebook and jump right back onto HGG Radio. Have a wonderful week, Facebook. Have a wonderful weekend, actually. Have a wonderful weekend, YouTube. And we'll see you on the other side. God bless you.